So I came up on here to talk about an experience I had. If you are planning on traveling abroad and you are planning on booking your flight through Iberia Airlines, be very careful. They are scammers. So what happened to me is just so crazy. In my opinion, it was just basically me being manipulated, and this is a total scam. So back in August, I I planned on going to Barcelona. So I booked my flight through Iberia Airlines. And at the time I booked it, the flight was 1100, and I'm rounding numbers up. So it was $1,100. Now, later on, due to my work schedule, and again, I mentioned about, sacrificing our lives for our jobs, which then tends to hold us back in the last video. But anyway, I'm diverting from the topic. But yeah, so due to my work schedule, I decided, okay, well, maybe I should, push my trip back, which was scheduled at the time for May of this year. So I booked a trip back in August for a trip in May of 2026. Now, at the time, again, the ticket was $1,100. A lot of people are saying that it was a lot of money, but whatever. Um, Now comes no October. In October, I said, okay, well, I want to push it back. I want to change the dates, and because it just seemed a little rush for me. There's like a lot of things going on. So then I decided to push the trip back 1 month. The ticket price that I found online was less than the $1,100. Mind you, less. Okay, so now I go to purchase it, and I see there's a total of 400 something dollars there. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm getting a credit of $400. I was wrong. They charged me an additional $400. So a ticket price that was originally 1100 came up to now $1,500. Okay, so then I was like, okay, whatever. I was pissed off when I noticed that I was billed $1,400, but I said, okay, fine. It's my fault and everything. So the other last week, I decided, okay, well, I want to push the trip back even further because the months are already going by too fast. I mean, we're already in February next week. So the months are going by too fast. So then I said, okay, fine. Then, let's push it back even further. Let's push it back to the fall. Now, I pushed it back to the fall, and the ticket price dropped $200. So now you're looking at something that's $1,500, and it's now $1,300, which is amazing. So I decide, okay, fine. And now I see that I'm getting credited. I have proof. I have in front of me the price of the ticket is going to be $200 less. So I have an e-credit. So I try to book it, and it's asking me actually to pay another $200. I'm confused. So I call Iberia Airlines customer service, and I tell them I'm confused. Why am I going to pay another $200 on a ticket price that's actually $200 less than what I originally paid? The gentleman on the phone mentioned something about penalty fee. Okay, fine. I said, that's fine. So how much is the penalty fee? Because if I have an e-credit of $200, how much is the penalty fee? I don't mind paying it, but you need to tell me because I want to know, If it's $100, then I'm supposed to get back an e-credit of $100. And then he basically shuts down. He doesn't say anything to me. So I'm telling him, okay, well, I want to purchase a ticket and yada yada yada. And he just basically tells me, no, you have to pay an additional $200. What? Okay, so in other words, this whole scam is my ticket for $1,500 is going to remain $1,500, and I need to pay an additional $200 as a penalty. If that's not a scam, I don't know what is. So I try to explain this to this customer service rep who knows it's a scam. He knows because he's not responding. I keep asking him to do the math with me. He's refusing to do the math because he knows perfectly well it's a scam. So my warning to everyone out there is do not book with Iberia Airlines. Their their whole thing is a scam. They're horrible, and they have the damn nerve to send me emails about deals. Deals, they're scamming people, they're liars. And you know what's even worse? At the end, when I spoke to this gentleman, I went online with him for us to book that trip, and he saw the trip was less. And this mofo had the nerve to tell me new passengers booking a trip will get the discounts. If you're an existing passenger trying to change a flight, modify a trip, you're not eligible for that. So we pull you in, and once you're an existing passenger, everything else is the middle finger to you. Do not book with Iberia Airlines. Do not. And I fully intend on continuing forward with my trip. However, the service better be top tier service.